Good morning, everyone. Welcome to You Got This with Melinda Garvey. Really excited to be here with you today. And we got a big topic that we're talking about, a couple big topics. We are talking about fear and failure. Sounds kind of like a downer, right? But as I was thinking about this, I was thinking, gosh, I get asked so much about these two topics, and there's so much written and talked about fear and about failure. And I thought, well, gosh, am I even qualified to talk about this? And then I realized, oh yeah, I've had a ton of fear and certainly I've had a lot of failure. So yes, I am qualified to talk about this. And I have come up with just some methods and some things that I do to overcome those things. So I want to share those with you today. So I appreciate you joining us. I appreciate your incredible questions and just being here with me. So the first question is from Alex this morning, and she asks about, how do you overcome the fear of becoming the face of a brand, like really putting yourself out there. So you're an entrepreneur, you have a company. Sometimes it's easy to hide behind, marketing that company, and here it is. But I think that there are some types of businesses, certainly. And then also in this day and age, people want to know who it is behind that brand. They want to understand the brand. They want to understand the values of that brand. And often, especially when you're in startup mode, that brand is really you, right? Or it's me in my case. So I just want to share with you a little bit about what's happened to me the last few months. I have had a magazine in Austin, Texas for almost 16 years called Austin Woman, and it has been a wonderful, wonderful ride, and we are still going strong. And same mission is on the dot about providing relatable role models for women. But although I was out there and people knew me, it was really about this brand. We had this physical product, Austin Woman, that was out there. And I felt like that really was at the forefront. So when I decided to launch on the dot, because I really felt like women around the globe deserved to have access to these incredible, relatable role models. And I knew that since that was the number one issue facing women's advancement, that I could solve that. So I decided to do that. And I thought, well, this will be easy. I mean, I already know how to run a media company. I'll just launch this media company and we'll be off and running. Well, what I quickly found is that in the throes of this women's movement and everything that's going on and everything that's being talked about, women want to put a face, right? They want to understand what we really stand for before jumping on board. And quite frankly, I found that I've had to do a lot of teaching that we need this, right? So we know we need some basic things in life, our basic needs. We know we need to eat. We know we need to bathe. We know we need to watch the news so that we can have intelligent conversation at the office. And we sort of understand that we need those things, or we, to sort of function. But when I realized that women didn't really understand that their biggest need is actually these relatable role models, that I needed to help them cross the finish line and have that aha moment so that they could see the light and understand, wow, I actually do need this. And this is something that could propel me forward faster than anything else. I'm not saying it's the silver bullet, but man, is it powerful. And what I realized is just plain old Facebook advertising and putting it out there wasn't going to accomplish that. So I had to become the face of the brand and really talking about my passion. For me, it's a duh. Like, duh, we need this. I've been living this life for so long. And I really had to sort of get out of my comfort zone and realize that other women, although they're seeking, they want something, they're looking for something, they don't know really that this is key for them and that I'm providing this for free. So I had to get out and tell people that. And I didn't like that very much. So I started working with a branding company, and they're telling me I got to do these crazy Facebook lives like I'm doing, and daily videos, and putting myself out there and speaking all the time and really talking to women and imparting my passion and helping women cross that finish line to that aha moment so that you too could join me in having this incredible access and having the kind of success that you deserve. But that wasn't easy, right? It's not easy to sit here. And this morning I'm looking, I'm going, oh God, can I get a little more concealer on? I got to do this Facebook Live. And how does my hair look today? And, am I going to say anything that's relevant or meaningful? So all of those fears, I have to overcome all the time. Every single day, I have to sit here and think, and I have to pump myself up. I'm like, I can do this. And what I'm saying is meaningful and enriching and helpful, because I don't want to be on here just talking about nothing. That's not going to do anybody any good. But overcoming that fear is what is going to propel On the Dot forward. And frankly, forget about On the Dot. It's what's going to help you, because my goal and my mission in life is to help you cross that finish line faster and more successfully and get there. And I know that these relatable role models can help you do that. So I have to overcome that fear. And I love it. I actually bought a t-shirt a few years ago and have now used it as my mantra. It's a Life is Good t-shirt, and it says, fear less. So it's not fearless, because I actually believe being fearless is kind of irresponsible, because sometimes that fear, that churning in your stomach is like, oh gosh, run and run away fast. And that's exactly what you should be doing. But more often than not, sometimes that churning in your stomach, that tension in your shoulders, that shake in your voice means that you're doing something really important, that you're pushing yourself, outside your comfort zone. And that's the kind of fear that can propel us. So instead of being afraid of fear, we need to embrace that fear. We can't let fear overcome us, but we also have to embrace that fear is a natural part of life. And if we can embrace it and use it as a barometer so that we know that we're doing something meaningful. So today, when I'm worried about what I'm going to say and I'm fearful that, oh, nobody's going to watch and, nobody's going to care what I'm saying, what I realize is I've got to overcome that, because I know in my core that what my mission is, what I'm trying to do, bring everybody with me across that finish line, educate women on this need for relatable role models, and then provide them with easy access. Then I go, okay, I know it. I get now why my stomach is churning, because that's a big job. It's a big deal. So I'm just going to encourage you today to really think about that, to think about not trying to be fearless, because no one is fearless, and to just trying to fear less, right? And that when you feel that churning, then embrace that and know that you're doing something big, and get excited about that, because guess what? Most of the world, they don't play big, but you've got to play big, and you have the opportunity to play big, and we can help you play big. That's what On the Dot is all about, is about helping you play big. So thanks so much for that question, because that's something that's really personally been a challenge to me for the past several months. And I love just being able to talk about that and encourage others to step out of your comfort zone. Okay, so now we're going to talk about failure. This is a real downer, right? But it's actually not. And I love talking about failure too, because gosh, we're all going to fail far, far more than we succeed in life. That's just a fact. And that may sound like, oh gosh, well, I don't want to live a life where I'm going to fail all the time. But when you learn from that failure, when you understand what that failure is showing you and teaching you, then it becomes really productive. And we just have to know it. Look, we're not always going to succeed. So if we can sort of have a baseline of understanding, we're going to do a lot better about how we rise from failure. And that's where I want to focus now, because really, we're all going to fail. We just have to sort of accept that. And I can't tell you how to not fail. I just can't, because I'm going to fail 100 more times, and you're going to fail, and we're all going to. But what I can talk to you about is how you rise up from that failure, because that's how you're going to be judged. You're not judged on your failures. Think about all the people in the world, all the really famous, wildly successful, or people that you revere or admire. All of them have failed many, many times, and you know about those failures. Now, there are a lot of people out there, you look at that and you're like, gosh, they just have had success after success after success. And you may think, oh, they're pretty great. But I don't know if you're like me. I look at the people who you've seen their failures, you've seen their stumbles, you've seen what's happened to them along the way and those failures, and they've still risen, and the way they've dealt with it. And whew, my respect skyrockets for those people. So it's about how you rise from that failure and how you learn to overcome that. And you can't, you can have a day. I'll give you a day, maybe a couple days, depending on the failure, to wallow a little bit. But then you need to reach out. You need to reach out to your network, to your posse, to your friends, to your colleagues, to those people who support you, and have people help and rally around you and help you rise out. And you just got to get back up. You got to pull up your bootstraps and keep moving forward. And just remember the key thing to remember, two key things, messages here. Number one, we're all going to fail far, far more than we succeed. And we just have to accept that. And we have to plan for it. We know it's coming, so don't let it completely demolish you. And then we need to think about, how am I going to rise from this failure? What do I want my legacy to be? Because your legacy really will be defined as much, or sometimes even more, by your failures than by your successes. So I'm going to leave that with you today. And just to recap, number one, we are going to fear less. We're not going to be fearless, but we are going to fear less, right? And we are going to embrace the fact that we're going to fail more than we succeed. And we are going to think about how we rise from the ashes, how we rise from that failure, because we know that's going to be a key part of our legacy. So I really thank you for joining me today. Hi, Sarah. See Sarah watching. Thanks so much for joining us today. And please post your questions below. I love being with you every Wednesday and answering those questions about business and how you can move forward. I want to make sure that I'm there for you to help bridge that confidence gap. And I want you to remember that On the Dot is here for you. It's the whole reason I created On the Dot, is to provide these relatable role models to you every day. And if you just come to an understanding that those role models are key to your success more than anything else out there. There are a lot of important things that are key to your success. Number one is access to these relatable role models. You've got to see it to be it. So if you haven't already joined our movement, it's free. You can text the word empower, 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 to 345-345. Bada bang, bada bing, it'll ping you, you put in your email, and you are part of our movement, and you will have daily access to these relatable role models. And it only takes 4 minutes of your time. So I just encourage you to do that. I encourage you to share it with your friends and your colleagues and any other woman that you think would benefit from this. So again, thanks for joining me. And as always, just remember, no matter what, you got this. Take care. See you next week.